Good morning, everybody. Trish here, sliding up some Palo Santo, which I like to do. I hope you are well on this Tuesday, or whenever you're watching the replay. The message here will be for you whenever you are hearing it. So if you are on the replay, welcome. And if you're watching this over on the YouTube channel, then welcome. Please come and join me every Tuesday live on the Facebook page. I'll put the link in the description. All right, so Palo Santo, lots of nice greenery today. I thought it just felt really peaceful and healing, and I think we could all do with that right now. And today we're going to be talking about clarity and how it comes and goes. 1 minute we're clear, next minute we're not. But there are some ways to really get an overall clarity. And then, you know, on those days where we're influenced by other energies, at least we've still got the foundations of our clarity. Each day I wake up feeling different. Today I've woken up feeling hopeful and trusting in everything that's playing out, and knowing that it's all for the good of humanity, which is difficult to believe some days, but I have that feeling today. And I've just, yesterday I was totally confused about who I was as a human. And, you know, that confusion, I think, is spreading amongst all of us. And it's not just our own confusion as to who we are and where we're heading and, you know, what's going on in the world, what do we believe. It's other people's confusion and fear and anger and sadness all coming in to our energies as well. So, you know, one of the things we will talk about today while talking about clarity is to really hone in on whether you're in your own energy or whether you're tuning into other people's energy. You know, I know for many years there, probably all my life actually, and we all do this, you know, I was trying to solve internal issues that weren't even mine, right? Anger that would come up, sadness that would come up, things that would really create a lot of mood in me. And, you know, I had 28 years in the salon industry. I was picking up a lot of energy. And so, you know, I feel that a lot of my energy was zapped, not just by other people pulling it, but by me using it to try to figure out what was wrong with me, right? And then it was, you know, just a handful of years back, I was working in a hospital, and you know, I was quite open to my intuitive abilities and all of that at that stage. And I was aware of all the spirit in the hospital and the little tricks and games they would play with me. But there was this one day I hopped into the lift and I just went down, and I was in a really good mood. I just went down a few floors and I got out of the lift and I had this overwhelming feeling of anger. And I knew it wasn't mine. And it was the first time that I really understood that, you know, for so long and for so many years, I had taken on those feelings as my own. And typically I would have spent the next day or even week or longer trying to figure out what that anger was and try to, you know, peeling the onion and try to dissolve it. And it's impossible if it's not yours. Right? So I got out of that elevator. I'm like, whoa, this is not mine. So I just swept my body and it's like, return to sender with love, whatever energy here is not mine. And it went. So from that day forward, I always just check in with myself as to whether I'm dealing with my own energy or other people's. And I feel yesterday that, yes, I did have this level of confusion, but I feel I really was soaking in a lot of energy on a global level. And we're all feeling that right now. And so, you know, to really gain clarity on how you are actually feeling in any area of life, but even just in general, how you're feeling, it's good to clear that energy first. And you know, there's many rituals and many different ways you can do it. I just like simplicity, and so I just run my hands down like this, just go right, and just sweep the energy, and just go right. Whatever energy is here is not mine in my field. Return to sender with love. Now, I find that works. It's the intention behind it. If you feel you need a longer process, or, you know, some contemplation or meditation around that, or crystals or anything else that you need, that's great too, whatever suits you. Because if you don't feel that it's working, then it won't. Right? It's your intention behind it, and whatever you need to reinforce that intention, then do that. Now, there are some days when I'm really heavy. Well, I will take crystal energy as well, and just have some protection and cleansing crystals in my bra or around me. And of course, I use Palo Santo, and I use sage as well. So they're just on a general kind of, you know, if you start having an emotion that you know is not yours, you can actually just sweep your body, whatever's mine here, just return to sender with love. And I like to say that last bit as well, because you've got to remember that everything you put out comes back. So you want to return whatever that feeling is that you've taken on board from someone else. You've got to return it with love. Whether they receive it with love, it doesn't matter. You're sending it out with love, which means more things will come back to you with love. So that's important to do as well. Who have we got? Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Janita. Oh, perfect, Cheryl. So yeah, yesterday I was feeling really confused, and not about who I am or where I'm going, but confused about how I was feeling about everything. And it kind of hung around all day, but I really feel this is on a global level at the moment. We're all just like, what the? Don't really know what to believe in anymore. But today I've woken up feeling a lot clearer, and actually feeling hope and dare I say excitement. I mean, it probably feels a bit off saying excitement for the future, but you know, for me, I just tuned into some spirit energy this morning that was really giving me the feeling. I didn't see it, I didn't hear anything. I had this feeling. It's like I was in this bubble of feeling of, you know what, everything's okay, just trust. And so today I've got that clarity. So with all of the stuff happening around the world, you know, if you haven't got that peace in here, and that clarity about who you are, or you know what your next step is, or how you want to feel right now, then I really suggest that shake off everybody else's energy first, and then deal with your energy then. So today I want to talk about clarity and in certain areas of your life. And that certainly is the first step. You can't get clarity on any area of your life if you're in this energetic mess of everybody else's, right? So you've got to clear all that, get yourself in a good space. And, you know, many of these many of these things I'm going to talk about today have really been challenges for me over. When you're in the clarity, you understand. You understand that the process is worth it. And there's been many times in life where I've been in total clarity of who I am and what I'm doing without even, trying, or maybe I didn't remember the trying. I'm just remembering back to my salon days where, I really absolutely loved being there. And I was in all the competitions and Australian champion, and all my staff were champions, and, I was really on purpose, living a fantastic life. And I was really clear on that, but I just didn't feel it was something that I had to work up to. I felt that it kind of just happened, but ultimately nothing just happens. We all work our way up to it. So over this past few months in particular, I've really had to get clear on my business, who I serve, my purpose, my message. And it may seem a little bit odd that, I've been doing this business for quite a few years now and I haven't had that clarity, but I haven't. I thought I had, but I really didn't. And now I'm really clear. I'm really clear on my purpose and how I want to serve in the world, how I want to serve in the world, why I'm serving in the world. I'm clear on my message. But I think most importantly, I'm clear on who I am, and that is the cornerstone for it all. Because the previous decade, I had glimpses of clarity about who I was and what I was here to do, but I was continually following what I thought I should do or what I needed to do based on what other people were doing. And while that's okay to follow a process and to follow a system, if you're expecting the same outcome as somebody else, that's where the failures just keep lining up and up. And I don't believe in failure either. But the blocks and the don't go this path, go here. Now, why is that? Now, for years, I did see myself as a failure because nothing I was doing was working, right? And it wasn't even just in this business, right? I had a coaching business, a salon coaching business. I had a app business. I've done some other things and nothing really took off. I'm like, oh, what's wrong? I must just be really stupid in business. What's wrong with me that I can't do it? And I think a lot of us go into this, especially in business, and if it's not working. But the thing that I learned really, and that the clarity that pulled me out of all of that, was getting clear on who I was, my message, who I'm serving, and how I want to serve them. Because even following a process from somebody else, you've still got to put your own energy into it. It's still you that is creating the experience. And, my salary was 6 months ahead. And it wasn't just because I was giving them, great fingernails. They came for the experience. They could have got great fingernails at other places, right? Now, this is the same in any business, whether you're providing a product, a service, coaching, mentoring, you're creating an experience, and that experience has to be unique to you, not adopted from somebody else's energy. So that clarity has really moved my life forward. But I do work with this with clients all the time, with getting clear on their next steps, getting clear on the relationship they want, getting clear on the business that they want, the lifestyle. So let's run through a few scenarios, and I am going to pull some cards today, and we will we'll have the theme of clarity today with the card readings, and so we'll see what comes out of that. But the first thing really to be clear on is how does it feel? If you're not clear on which direction to go to, you've got to feel into it. Are you going this way because that's what you think is the best way, or are you going that way because it feels the best? One of the exercises that I get my clients to do is write down a feeling vision board, right? Often we'll have a physical vision board with things that we want: cars, boats, homes. This is a feeling vision board, and it is just a piece of paper that you write down in present moment how you feel. So whichever area of life this is, I would do a separate sheet for each area. So let's say it's relationship, for instance, but you can do this for career, work, home, anything really. You have to be clear on how you want to feel. The universe brings you more of the feelings that you want, not more of the things. So getting clarity on decisions, in my opinion, should be based on feelings. How do you determine what feels right? Do this list. So you start with an end in mind. So let's say you wake up 1st of January next year and everything is feeling great in your relationship. If you don't have one now, then you will have one, right? So you've got to wake up imagining that the scenario is already playing out. So you wake up that day, how do you feel? So for instance, for a relationship, it could be like, wow, I just feel so blessed that, I've got this person in my life that really cares for me. I feel so taken care of that, I get a cup of tea before I get out of bed, or I feel really heard. I feel emotionally matched and open. I feel fully supported. I feel like he's got my back or she's got my back. I feel freedom. I feel a real match here with energy. Whatever it is that you want to feel, and even down to the smallest things, right? I feel so nurtured because, my dinner's cooked for me when I get home. Little things like that, whatever it is for you, depending on your love language, you might like physical touch more than gifts, or you might like gifts more than service. Whatever it is for you that's important for you, write it down on those feelings, but do it in present tense. I feel, as if it's happening right now at that moment. Now that list becomes your checklist for any decisions that you want to make when you're not clear about moving forward. Will this next step bring me those feelings? It's usually pretty clear, and it makes it easy then to have clarity in your decisions. So that's the first thing. The second thing with clarity is that we can often get caught up in this battle of the mind and the heart, the logic and the feeling. And it's only when we can really combine the two that things become clear. So hopping out of the mind is really important here for clarity, because I really feel that clouds it. my opinion on all of this, and it's just my opinion, you might have your own, my opinion on all of this is that our heart should be instructing our mind, not our mind ruling our heart and our body. So if you can tune in here and listen to that truth that's in there, even though logically you can't figure out how that's going to work, it will come as soon as you tune in here, because as soon as you trust those messages that are coming, as soon as you trust that feeling, even if it's against the grain, as soon as you trust that, then you're then saying to your mind and your brain, this is in charge now. Now find me the way. And that's when the answers will come. So whatever it is for you, if you're stuck in a crossroads in life or really just don't know what to do, it's got to be that calling. And this has I've always followed this calling, but it's only been recently that I'm clear on it. But it has never stopped me from following it. And this has created lots of tension in certain situations, and people saying I'm crazy and not responsible, and why don't you just go get a normal job, and all of the stuff that comes up that often we can go back into fear and start thinking we've just got to please everybody. My calling has never dimmed. My fear has sometimes blocked it, but my calling has never dimmed. And the solutions come when I start to trust it. And I always get back into there with trying to find the clarity, because the clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It's the same old story. You've got to get out of the problem to find the solution to the problem. So it's got to be in here. And then from there, ask your mind then to come in on the picture and find the solutions for the way forward. But your clarity and resolve is what will bring what will bring those solutions, and your clarity is found in here. So the other thing that I like to do with myself and my clients is to ask better questions. And there's a couple of ways you can do this. The first thing is, if you're not clear, give yourself the two options and ask yourself, how will that benefit me? How will that benefit me? How will saying no to that benefit me? How will saying yes to that benefit me? It's about asking questions. And some of that comes from the work of Byron Katie, who really does question everything that goes on in her mind. It really is about questioning what goes on in the mind, because the mind is really not that true. The mind is reflecting fears and old emotions. So it's about questioning it. So even just write down, what it is that you're not clear about, and write it in a statement. If I go this way, this will happen. Well, then ask yourself, is that really true? Can you know for sure that it's true? And if it weren't true, how would you be feeling about it? So clarity comes from questioning, but not questioning the outside world with any blame or, why me kind of questions. questions about whether what you're thinking is true. That will really bring some clarity. If it comes to career, I also like to delve into different things that have happened in the past. And this is how I've really come up really clear about my purpose, because no matter what job or business I've created, or even my long 28-year career in the salon industry, but even before that, when I was 16 doing part-time work at takeaway shops and stuff, what I've always loved doing is helping people change their perspective on things. I give them an alternative. And I've done this to the children as well. They present me with a point of view and I go, oh, well, what about if this is true? And I've always done that. It's just something that's come naturally for me. So in gaining clarity over the last couple of months, I've looked at all those things. It's like, what's the thread through all of that has come naturally to me? And that's it. And so that really is part of my purpose here, is for to change people's perception on things and really find the truth of who they are, so they can start believing in themselves, because we have so much stuff surrounding us and within us that is not true. So, what is it for you, like in career or job or whatever? If you're trying to figure out what you love doing, have a look at all those things. What's the common thread? You could even do this in relationships, right? What are the things in relationships that have made you feel really comfortable? What are the things that haven't? And, from there, you can really make that list of how do you want to feel in your next relationship. Obviously, you'll take all the don'ts out of it, right? And compile a list of do's. So you can use your history as part of the process, but it really is about asking questions. Oh, do you need a mind and heart? Yeah, absolutely. It has to be the heart operating. The heart needs to be the one instructing the mind, not the mind controlling the emotions. And I think probably for 60 or 70% of humans, it's the mind controlling everything. And that is out of alignment. And that's where we get those times where it's like, I'm just not clear on anything right now. It's because your heart is giving you an option of alignment and your mind is keeping you out of that alignment with the other options that are all the shoulds, coulds, have tos, please other people, etc., etc. Hello, Ashley. Janita, I have trouble with that way. My heart has lied to me, but my thoughts never have. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it, Janita? Because, yeah, I just find that really interesting. Is that really true? Is that really true? Has your heart lied to you? Has your heart lied to you? I would really question that. Yeah, I would question that. That will give you some clarity. Maybe it wasn't really the heart that was speaking. Because you've got this amazing communication with spirit that you innately trust, and Fall in love with some monsters, but I've picked up on some spidey sense and left them. Yeah. You've got this innate trust of spirit and energy and the guides and messages that come through for you. It's that innate trust that we also have to have in our gut feeling, in our heart feeling. And we don't always have that because something in our mind will come in and say, remember when this happened, right? So, you know, falling in love with people is an interesting scenario because your heart isn't lying. Something about that person that you're connecting with. But that doesn't mean to say when they turn out to be monsters that your heart lied to you. So, yeah. Yeah, you absolutely trust spirit. You do. You absolutely do. And I know most of the time you do trust this too. So, you know, and those relationships that turned out to be, you know, horrific, trusting your heart in the beginning wasn't the wrong thing to do, because, you know, ultimately all of that has led you here. And, you know, there probably was some matching energies on some level to those people that was then overshadowed by their personality. So, yeah, I would just question that. Cheryl, okay, that resonates. My head needs to be quiet for a while. Yeah, but our mind and our head is very important. Don't get me wrong; it's very important. But this needs to be leading rather than the other way around. For real clarity. So let's pull some cards. All right. I've actually got the Toltec Wisdom here. I'm going to pull a card for you, Janita. I just feel there's something in here we need to know. All right. What do we need to know for Janita today? I have to tell you guys, it is really chilly here this morning. I know everybody in the lower parts of Australia are going to go, yeah, Trish, it's like 21 there. Don't tell me about it being cold, but it's really windy and quite cold here today. I think I'm going to have to get myself a little like foot heater. It's just too noisy to have the aircon heater on. All right, especially for our podcast tomorrow night, Janita. I can't be sitting there shivering. So, yes, it is actually. Yes, it's this deck here. It's beautiful. All right, what do we need to know for Janita? There it is. Beautiful. So what this deck is I'll just tell you the meaning of the actual deck because it's really interesting. This deck reminds us of a profound and simple truth. The only way to end our emotional suffering and restore our joy in living is to stop believing in lies, mainly about ourselves. He shows us how to recover our faith in the truth and return to our own common sense. Then he opens the door to a reality that we once perceived when we were 1 and 2 years old, a reality of truth, love, and joy. That's why I really love this deck, because questioning yourself and getting back to this heart center which is what I love to do, and change people's perception on what's bringing them out of that, takes you back to that innocence of when you were 1 or 2, when everything was from here. Everything was from here. All right. Lies can only survive if I believe them. And then we've got on the back, the solution for taming the liar in my head is to stop believing what it tells me. If I don't believe myself and I don't believe anybody else, then all of the lies won't survive my skepticism and will simply disappear. Interesting. Now, you're the last person that I would call a liar, Janita, but I feel that there are some thoughts that are perhaps not true here, and they can only survive if you believe them. So I think some clarity here would be to question some of those thoughts, question some of those beliefs, and are they really true? Are they the belief of somebody else that said it was true? Do they really resonate with you now? Maybe they were true, maybe they're not true now for you, because we are all different on a daily basis, including our entire body, which regenerates every 7 or so years. We're a totally different body, right? So this one's for Janita, Ashley. This one's for Janita. So I just love the little heart down here too. I don't know if you can see it. It's here. Can't really. Oh, there you go. I would just question those beliefs that don't feel good can only survive if you believe them. So I want to pull one of these for you as well. I've got my Chinese fortune cards here. Is that the one for you? No, it's not the one for you. From my cosmic deck, they're saying. One for Janita from here. All right. So let's see. What else does Janita need to know? There it is. The law of transmutation. Ooh, that's interesting, Janita. Transmuting. Really interesting. Let me look that up. The law of transmutation. I have a feeling that explains perhaps some of the out of alignment today. You rise above mundane frustrations and aggravations and see what lessons are contained therein. You find strength within weakness and turn it to advantage. Through this energy, you transform yourself. Faith is the fuel for this energy. Through transformation, you use the light instead of just fueling it. That's interesting. The light is here, and this is the fuel. This is a flowing process, one in which other inner richness and depth are able to surface and become an expression of the soul. Wow, massive change for you today, Janita. I think it's been perhaps coming for the last few weeks, so I can't wait to talk to you soon. But yeah, I love that. The law of transmutation. Something's definitely shifting, and I think it's going to create a lot of self-inquiry. It's going to create some questioning within you, which will hold the answers. So we can talk about that more later when I call you. Perfect. All right, Cheryl, let me pull a card for you. We'll do one of these as well, hey? Seeing we're trying to find clarity today, we're talking about clarity. These show us where we are perhaps believing something that's not true, and that clouds our judgment and it clouds our alignment. All right. Lies blind our faith and lead us nowhere. Interesting. That's like a stalemate in the mind, isn't it? Is that where you are today, Sherelle? A stalemate in the mind is the words I'm getting here. When lies blind our faith, we fall into the illusion that we are separate from God, and we lose our power of creation. Real faith is having faith in life, faith in ourselves, faith for no reason. From this point of power, we can create whatever we want to create. This is actually the energy that I've dropped into today, which is really interesting, because yesterday I had no faith in myself or the human race. Today I've got blind faith. I don't need to know the answer behind it all. I have faith that it's all working out. So I guess this is perhaps the message for you as well, Sherelle. Try to do whatever you can to get out of this stalemate here and connect in some way to your heart, which is energy, spirit, no thought, nature. Real faith is having faith in life, faith in ourselves, and faith for no reason. If you could perhaps even today, I'll pull one of these cards here for you as well. If you can today maybe write down all of those times when, you were in that stalemate in your head and you were fearing something would happen, but then actually the opposite happened, which was something good that restored your faith. Perhaps if you can look back over, events in your life, you can start restoring some of that blind faith, and that will get you out of the stalemate. All right, and one of these ones as well. Okay. And it's interesting that if I hadn't have shifted this morning or overnight, this information wouldn't be coming today, because I really was in that stalemate of my mind yesterday. So it's very difficult to get clarity on anything when you're in there with no faith. So that's exactly where I was yesterday. And yeah, there's no way that this conversation would be totally different today. We probably wouldn't even be talking about clarity. So just interesting how all that works out. All right. What else does Sherelle need to know? What else does Sherelle need to know? Oh, there it is. Standing up. Look. Dragon. Woohoo. Look at that. Number 22. 22 is the master number of the builder. And so this to me is a question for you, Sherelle. What are you building right now? Are you building life from your heart or from your head? Because you're in the energy of the master builder, and you have the strength and the power and the drive and the faith to build whatever it is you want, to create whatever it is you want in your life right now. But it will feel out of alignment, which you're feeling today because there's this stalemate going on. It will feel out of alignment if it's planned from here. It's got to be, the clarity needs to come from here and then the planning. So yeah, I love that. So let's see the messages for that one, because I'm sure there's something here for you. All right, 22. Enormous power surrounds you. Use it to your advantage entirely to be a winner. Yes. So these messages are exactly what you needed today, Sherelle. An incredibly powerful card, the dragon symbol is strongly associated with success and victory. Ambitions will be satisfied as a new optimistic attitude manifests amazing opportunities. Look at that, right? Our attitude changes depending on our faith and our clarity. So Yeah, I really feel all of the areas here, relationships, career, it's all about success here for you. But you know, it really will depend on you finding that point of power, of blind faith, of trust. Find that point of power, and you absolutely can create something here. Exciting times, Sherelle. I actually feel things are about to shift for you. And I'm thinking end of June, but it's not really. I'm actually getting the 18th of June. You will really notice. You will really notice the shift, the turn, and it will be that blind faith feeling. I think you'll really notice it on the 18th. So mark that on your calendar and let me know. Yay! Okay, so your head has been trying to achieve your heart's desire. Okay, so trying is the word there, that's the resistance. Your heart's desire has to also work on faith and trust, taking action on those intuitive prompts that come, and then asking your mind to create the process.